Let's do this.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Daily Devotion with Beez. I'm your host, Beez the Chaplain, and apologies if I'm still kind of looking around and apologies, man. You know what I'm about. You know that every single time I start this thing, I have to check to make sure that everything's working. I'm not on mute. There's no problems and all the rest of it. But there is a problem with the way my beard is shaped this morning. That's for sure. Ugh, and I've got stuff in there. Yuck. Anyway, I've got to clean myself up. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me. And thank you for the two people that are joining me on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook Live. And on Instagram Live as well. I'm using two different apps. So I'm just wanting to make sure if anyone drops a comment or anything, I can see where it is. Today, once again, this is the setup. Still in Melbourne, still doing the week of prayer at the college, and it's been awesome so far. And it's funny because yesterday, one of the students came up to me, James Bond 007. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a great start to the day. Unless you're in the States. If you're in the States, I don't know. Yes, today's still Tuesday evening. I'm not sure, but everyone who's a Sydney sider or a Melbourneite or an Australian, happy Wednesday morning. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and thanks for being part of this. So I'm at the school and I only I only had a certain amount of luggage, right? And so there's only a certain amount of clothes that I can bring. And so, but I brought like a few outfits. But one thing for sure, in regards to cleanliness, I had to I brought new t-shirts, like not brand new, but like I brought clean t-shirts to wear as an undershirt each and every day. And so the first day I wore I think I wore a mustard shirt, my black shirt, mustard shirt, and then this, and then the day after or yesterday I kind of inverted it, and I wore my mustard jacket and my beige jacket and then a denim shirt and stuff like that. And yesterday, one of the students said, "I see what you're doing. I see how you're just switching it up." But the thing is, that was the end of my outfit selection for the week, and so I'm stuck. So I'm just I'm just keeping it simple, and I'm gonna wear this tomorrow. And obviously, if they're gonna be watching this soon, they'll know that that's all I got left. That's all the outfits. But my wife is coming soon, like in the next couple of days. I'm going to tell her to bring me another outfit. Just so I can change it up. Anyway. Okay, so today we're not going to jump straight into it. I've been rambling for the past 5 minutes. We're going to go into the devotion today, and the topic of today's devotion is, are you watching? And the reason why I say that is okay, we're back. I'm sorry for the interruption. Okay, so I'm talking about young people, right? And these young people, basically, like when they're kids, they're in the playground or something, and they're wanting their parents to watch because apparently they're going to do something amazing, right? They're going to do something awesome, or they've done it, but the parents aren't watching, right? So instead of them trying to do it over again, for their own sake, they'll go to the parents and they'll say, "Are you watching? Are you watching me? Are you watching? Are you watching?" And it's like, "Watch, mom, watch me, mom, watch, or dad, watch me, watch me." And okay, let's be honest, right? It's nothing flash. I don't have kids, so I don't have the problem of having to fake enthusiasm for some kid because just because he did a swing right, or he was on the swings good, or you walked the beam, or that really impressed me. Hey, I'm gonna be savage. I feel sorry for my future kids. Anyway, so it's this thing is, are you watching? Are you watching? And you see the disappointment. You see how upset they are when it's like they do it and it's successful, and then all of a sudden they turn and the parents weren't watching, right? Or they didn't see how awesome whatever they did, whether it was they stuck the landing or they successfully did something, and they weren't watching. And so there's this kind of hint or this kind of thing where, the parent goes, "Oh yeah, that was really good," knowing full well they weren't watching. And so there's that doubt in the child's mind saying, did they even know? Did they even notice? Did they even notice? And it's funny because reading this story of the Exodus and Moses, allowing or using Moses to bring the people of Israel out of Egypt, it like that point was brought to my attention. It's like the Israelites were meant to do a few things so they could be freed from Egypt. But at the end of the day, God did most amount of work. God was the one that did the most amount of work. And so what I mean by that is I'm going to read a passage, and the passage is found in Exodus chapter 14, verse 24, 25, and then I'm going to jump to 29. Because 24 and 25, we see what God is doing. And then in 25, we see what the Israelites are doing. And then I'm going to bring it back and kind of explain this kind of, I would say, this tension or this thing that we see that kind of leads into our ability to trust God. So if we go to Exodus chapter 14 and we're reading verse 24 to 25, it says, "Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of, no, that's 21. I'm reading too early, but God did that as well. Good morning, Abby, all the way from the college. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Going to give you a lollipop when you get to school, but thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate you dropping by. Let me just continue with this devotion. So it says here, now it came to pass, this is verse 24. Now it came to pass in the morning watch, that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud, and he troubled the army of the Egyptians, and he took off their chariot wheels so that they drove them into difficulty. And the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians." Right? So this is what God is doing in the background. By the way, the circumstance was the Red Sea was there, and the Egyptians and Pharaoh's army was here. And the way that God helped them was, he said to Moses in that moment, he goes, "Part the Red Sea, use the staff and part the Red Sea. But I'm also going to be doing something, right? I'm going to be protecting you. So I'm going to create this pillar of fire and smoke to block off the Egyptian army so they can't chase you, or it's going to give you this buffer time for you to take the Israelites through the Red Sea. So I'm going to do that in the meantime, but for you, I need you to go. And by the way, I'm the one parting the Red Sea, Moses. It's not you or your stick. It's me, right? But this is what you're doing, and I'm doing this in the meantime." And then also, when he sees what's going on, he sees the Israelites kind of taking their time, going through the Red Sea, and seeing that it could be a potential risk for the Egyptians to chase them down. What God does is he says, "Okay, I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to make it harder for the Egyptians to chase the Israelites as they go into the Red Sea." So God is doing all of this in the background. God is the one getting their wheels stuck or making their chariots bogged down while they're in the thing. But this is what I'm really interested in. What are the Israelites doing in the meantime? Well, they're actually stepping out in faith. Yesterday I was talking about it. It was talking about faith-filled steps. Every step they did was faith-filled because they're looking forward. They're dealing with their own issues, right? They're dealing with their own problems. They're looking to the left and the right. All they see is just water. All they see is just this massive wall of water and dry ground in front of them, right? And they've got the Egyptians in the back. They don't have time to see and watch and be in awe of what God is doing. So they're just focused. They're focused. Let's go to Exodus chapter 29 now. So I'll bring up the passage just so we can remember it for the people on the softwares. And this is what it says in verse 29. But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on the right hand side, and then to the left. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the Israelites didn't have time to see what God was doing. The Israelites did not have a chance to turn back and watch and say, "Wow, that pillar of fire is moving, and now he's making the chariots get stuck and all that stuff." What they were focused on was just getting through the sea. What they were focused on was just escaping Egypt. So they were walking, they were moving. This is where I want, like, this is where the idea of it, of kind of, this is what I want to kind of present to us. Are we watching what God is doing, right? Well, in this circumstance, the Israelites couldn't because they were too busy, not too busy. They had to focus on something because God gave them instruction, right? But the challenge is, while we're doing something, whether or not God is leading us in that, or whether or not God is telling us to do that, we miss what God is doing in the background. We miss what God is doing to protect us. We miss what God is doing to give us victory in the challenges and the battles that we're having to face, right? And this is what it kind of reminds me, that God is not just linear. God is not just, okay, here's a problem, I'll overcome this problem. Okay, here's another problem, I'm going to overcome this problem. The omnipresence of God, or the all everywhere God, reminds me that not only is he in the midst of the problem, providing me that solution, but he's already ahead of me, and he's already paved the way for me to have that solution. But also, he's also in the background, having doing all this stuff to protect me, to help me, to support me, so I can move forward and not worry, right? But the question that I have is, do I miss it sometimes? And I'm just going to check a comment. Thanks, Shivio. Yeah, thanks. It's a twinge in the voice. I'm not gonna put that comment up for the song. Thank you. All right, going back to what I was saying is, while God is working, right, and while we're moving in, I guess we're stepping in line with God, or journeying with God through, and having victory, and allowing God to have victory in our lives through the challenges, where I feel that we're missing a massive thing, a massive part of the a massive role that God plays in the background. Like yesterday, when I was at the school with the year 12s, I was chilling in their section, their VIP section of the school. So cool that they could have that. So they were chilling in their VIP section, and we just started playing. We were showing each other card tricks, right? And we were showing each other magic card tricks. And I showed them one, and it was like one of those ones where it's like, oh, how did you do that? How did you do? Oh, it's magic. And I say, oh, it's magic. And then more and more, it's like, oh, there's a trick to it. There's a trick to it. And it's like that essence of doubt. There's this essence of, I don't know how it happened, but yeah, it worked out. And unfortunately, with God, sometimes we apply that to God's circumstance. Sometimes we apply it to, and we run the risk of not acknowledging the work that God has done. And we leave it to things like chance or risk or coincidence, right? And I'm a firm believer that God moves. I'm a firm believer that God moves in my life. But what I fail to recognize sometimes is the fact that I say, oh, wow, I was just really lucky. And I'm like, well, if God said to me, hey, I know what the problem is. I know what the solution is. I know what you need to go through. I know you, and I know how to help you. Let me work through you. And I do my part, but I neglect to realize that he's doing so much in the background. He's doing all of this in the background. So when actually he gets me through it, I'm like, wow, I was really lucky. What luck. God's probably looking and said, were you watching? Were you watching me? Were you watching me? And then I turned around and I was like, yeah, thank you, God. But he's like, you didn't even see the fact that your enemies were right at your doorstep, but I held them back. You didn't see that you were close to being overrun by your enemies, but I held them back. I protected you from that. But no, you're saying it was coincidence? Are you saying it was just luck? It's like, Beez, man, hey, know where I was. There was, and for me, when I was thinking about this morning, I was like, when was the last time? I don't think I've ever prayed this prayer before. I've prayed a prayer of help. I've prayed a prayer of thanks, right? But I've never prayed a prayer of hindsight. I don't think I've ever done that. It's like one of those ones. It's like, God, this is the problem before me. This is my Red Sea, and these are my enemies. Like this is my Egyptian army that's wanting to kill me right now. And I want to move forward. And God is saying, okay, here's the solution, right? And then afterwards, when I have victory over it, I sit back, and then there's that prayer of thanks. Thanks for helping me. Thank you for getting me through it. But never once have I prayed, how did you do it? Like, God, like, I know your ways are not my ways. And I know your thoughts are not my thoughts. But in this particular situation, I don't want to say, and I don't want to reflect and say, wow, there was a small percentage that was God, but a lot was chance. Or there was a small percentage of God, but hey, God was really lucky. No, that's not how God works. And for me, there are sometimes I need to pray that prayer to say, God, show me how you did it. Show me how, in my when I didn't have the money and all of a sudden I had money, or when I was suffering with struggling with an addiction or struggling with a sin that I couldn't have victory in, and all of a sudden I felt great and I felt joy and I felt that I had victory. Show me how you did that. Because I don't want to leave it up to chance, and I can't afford to leave it up to chance. I can't afford to leave it up to luck. I can't afford to leave it up to probability and that was just lucky. Because the thing is, if I need to rely on you again, I need to know it's on you that I need to rely on and not chance and luck and probability and all these kind of coincidences, right? For me, that's going to be part of my prayer now. Because though he'll say, Beez, you don't understand and you won't understand. But what I'm going to give you is the peace to know that it was me, right? That's all I need. I need to know. It's not that I need to know everything about God and everything about his plan. But what I need to know and have that assurance is that it wasn't just luck. I need to know, and I need God to tell me, Beez, it was me. It was me showing, it was me doing all this. It's all good that you were obedient to me and walking in my path, right? The one that I set out for you. That's good because you did your part. But I need you to understand that it was me as well. Though you couldn't have been watching during that time, I'm going to reveal to you or give you at least the peace of mind in knowing that it was me. And for me, that's a part of my prayer because that's going to help me rely on God in the future. That's going to help me trust in God the next time that I come up to an obstacle or come up in a challenge in my life or come up to something that I know that I need him for, and have more of a certainty and a security that I can rely on God and not chance, probability, luck, coincidence, any of that. And that's going to help me. And I guess that's going to take faith. That's going to take faith in God. I got to have faith in God that he was there so I can have faith in God that he's going to be there. Right. So part of my prayer now, and I encourage you to do the same. If you're like, I don't know if I can trust God, I don't know if I can rely on God because I've never seen him move in my life, or he got me through it, or I had an issue, or I had a problem, I had a struggle, I had a challenge, I had an obstacle, and then I didn't know, like I was stuck. But then all of a sudden, right? There's this portion that we kind of, when we're at the bottom of the barrel or the end of our rope, we reach out to God and say, we start getting desperate. Lord, help me. God, help me get through this. Blah blah blah. Then something happened, and all of a sudden, I don't have that problem anymore. But then I'm like, okay, what was it then? And then all of a sudden, there's a myriad of options that it could be. Allow God, pray to God, and say, how did you do it? Not how did. Allow God to reveal himself to you so you can have a peace of mind knowing that it was him. So it will give you more of a assurance and a more of a trust and a secure faith to rely on him again. So though you don't know the minute and micro details of it, at least you know that it was him working. So I encourage you to add that into your prayer repertoire, right? Allowing God to reveal himself to you, not just in the present, but in the past. So it enables you to trust him in the future. I said a lot of words there, and I just hope that God was able to kind of speak encouragement into you. So when we're in the midst of a problem or in the midst of a future challenge, we can have more faith and security in trusting in God. Let's have a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much for the opportunity that we can come together on a brand new morning. And Lord, specifically today, I ask that you reveal yourself to us in a brand new way. Reveal yourself to us in hindsight. Show us and give us that peace of mind in knowing that the victories that we've had throughout our lives, in the big ones and the small ones, were because of you and not because of chance, not because of luck, not because of this kind of the universe kind of, paying us back or, or seeking revenge or any. Lord, tell us where you were in it. Tell us how you were able to support us. Tell us of the times that we reached out to you in desperation and you gave us victory so we can be more secure in who you are. We can be more secure in trusting you the next time we're, coming face to face with another I mean, another challenge. Yeah, I think my voice is starting to go, which is bad. So I'm going to wrap it up here. But Lord, I want to say thank you so much for being our protector. Thank you so much for being our provider. Thank you that victory can be found in you when we trust and rely on you. So may we build our trust and faith in you. Be with us now, I ask this all in your loving name. Amen. All right, I'm going to bounce. But thank you so much for the people that have joined me on Instagram Live, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube Live for another daily devotion with Beez. Once again, I'm your host, Beez the Chaplain. I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you're on the Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, drop a comment somewhere so I know that it was you, and I can give thanks and share the love. Once again, Mum, hope you have a good day, Mum. And hey, Mount Druitt Conquerors, praise the Lord for your ministry and your worship. But yeah, I got to bounce. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll see you tomorrow for another daily devotion with Beez. But yeah, in the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace out. Much love. Yeah, Mom, I'm going to wash my voice.